Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I will once again be drawing Sanji from One Piece because I love him. I am also going to keep getting interrupted by both the animals in my life. It's fine. My dog, Morty, is whining at me because he wants dinner, but I gave him dinner. The problem is it was not my dinner. It was dog food, and he detests the idea of eating dog food. Stinker? Stinker. We'll go with Stinker. I mean, I love him dearly, but sometimes. Just eat your own food, sir. Anyway, back to the matter at hand. I'm drawing Sanji, because I love him. And, this piece actually took me 2 days. And, I sat down and I recorded it in 2 separate sessions. And altogether, the uncut, unedited footage for this video is 5.5 hours. I have managed to get it down to 30 minutes, which means I've cut out a lot of things, but I've tried to smooth out the transitions so it's not so jarring. So, yeah, sorry about that. If you don't like a lot of cuts, sorry. I had to. It would have been like an hour long otherwise, and I don't think anyone wants to watch me doodle for an hour. Okay, maybe you do. I don't know. It just seemed ridiculous to have a video that long. So yeah, I didn't do it. Anyway, yeah, this took forever. It involves lots of tiny little flowers, which look nice in the end, but I kind of regret them at the same time. What was I thinking? Apparently I was not thinking. Send help. Anyway, so yeah, I drew Sanji because I love him. Ace, the guinea pig, has the zoomies and he's mewing around the cage. Morty is staring at him as if he is an eldritch horror, which is cool. At least they're not both screeching at me for something at the same time. Yeah, so I don't have much else to add. Other than this took forever, and I've decided that this is going to be my next tattoo. Because I can. And you know, I have a tattoo. I think I've mentioned it before, but I have a Gundam Wing tattoo, and I want another one, so it's gonna be One Piece. It's gonna be this Sanji. It's probably gonna be on my leg. It's gonna be great eventually. I want to get it done soon, but at the same time, we're in the plague times. But also at the same time, if I make an appointment with the tattoo artist, it'll probably take a few months before he can see me. So, I could... things could be better by then. I don't know. We'll see. I'm probably gonna wait, hopefully, until I can get my taxes done before I do that. That's what I'm planning. And I hope I can get my taxes done soon, but I have to wait for my stuff from not one, but 2 different employers. Because at the beginning of last year, I worked at a movie theater, and they shut down. So I have to wait for them to mail me my tax information. And then I have to wait for my current employer to give me my tax information. And I hate them both so much right now. Anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna wait till I get that, because depending on how much money, if I get money back, I should get money back. Depending on how much it is, it'll determine when I can schedule a tattoo appointment. Anyway, yeah, that's my life right now. I got a new cell phone, which is another reason I wanted to wait, because I needed to replace my old one because my battery was not cutting it anymore. Got a new phone. So there's that. I don't have anything. I don't have a lot. This video is so long. And I don't know what to talk about. Not that I ever know what to talk about, but like, at least it's not an hour. Imagine me rambling for an hour. That would be terrible. That would be terrible. Just an hour of me being like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's a time. It's a time. We live in a time. My coworkers think I'm hilarious, by the way, because I guess the term is throwing shade. I just do that very casually. They'll ask me about things, and then I just sort of say a thing, and they all think it's hilarious, but at the same time it is intense. My old coworkers from way back when, not at the movie theater, would say I was savage, which is not necessarily a term I understand, but they used it to refer to me a lot. And I think it's just because I have the emotional range of a postage stamp, and I tend to sort of not be terribly present at work, so I'm not paying attention, and I will just say things that I'm thinking, which is it's not a good thing. I should really work on that. But who knows? I find customer service to be like the most exhausting kind of thing ever, and it gets me in a way that like a lot of other things don't, and it messes with me, and I hate it so much. But well, it's what I'm stuck doing, and I'm gonna have to deal with it for now. Hopefully I can get a better job someday, somewhere, or manage to make a living doing art stuff. That would be great. But making a living off of my art is the thing that's gonna take a while to get into, and until then I'm gonna have to have the day job and test my sanity. It's fine. I need a better day job is what I need. Need a better day job. I don't have a lot of options where I live. Someday I will hopefully have better options somewhere. My friend is in grad school, and because he is in grad school and he works as a tutor at the university, I've ended up paying for a lot of his shit over the years. So we kind of joke around that I get to live in his first apartment rent-free for like 6 months, because it's about how much money he owes me at this point. Not that I'm really gonna make him like pay me, that I feel like that would probably be like a dick move to be like, yes, those 10 years of movie theater tickets I bought you, hand over compensation. Sounds like a dick move, but it would be nice to like have a roommate that I'm not afraid is going to walk out on me or be an ass. I've had that before as well. I live with my dad now. I gave up on having roommates. My father is the only acceptable roommate, and maybe my buddy George, because we've known each other for so long. I think George and I have been friends 11 years, going on 12. So I guess that's impressive. I knew before George usurped the position of best friend in my life. There was this girl I went to school with who was also like best friends with me. But she and I just sort of drifted apart after I finished college. I think it had a lot to do with the fact that, like, I finished college and I was done with the whole system at that point. And I just wanted to be successful, but, like, not necessarily success. I wanted to be able to, like, afford to live on my own and not depend on my parents. But, like, I couldn't not live with my parents because I couldn't get a part-time, like, I could only get part-time jobs. So I had to keep living with my parents after I finished college, and then it was just me and my dad, and, like, it was just weird. Like, I wanted to be a grown-up, I guess. I wanted to move on and at least have a whatever life, something that resembles a life of my own, and not continuing to just be, like, my parents' youngest kid. And so this friend I had, she did not seem nearly as motivated, and she was still in school for a long time after I was. And in fact, like, we graduated high school at the same time, and we started college at the same time, but then I quit college because I hated it, and I dropped out for 2 years, and then I went back because everyone's like, oh, you have to finish. You were halfway through your degree. You have to finish. It'll be better for you. So I went back, and things were actually worse for me because I finished my degree. Anyway, that's a whole other can of worms. But yeah, no, life sucked more after that. But, like, so I ended up getting my degree in 5 years altogether, with that 2 in the middle. And she was still in school. Like, she didn't drop out when I did. She was still there, and then she was still there after I left, and I don't know when she graduated. I assume she graduated at some point, but she and I just didn't talk much because, like, at one point I was complaining about my student loan bills, and she's like, well, just get your parents to pay it. And I think that's when we started drifting apart, because I realized we were at really different places in our lives, because, like, my parents could not pay my bill, and it wasn't fair to ask them to pay my bill. I mean, part of me wanted to, because the only reason I got the stupid degree in the first place was because they made me. I didn't want to go to, like, I wanted to go to art school, and they wouldn't let me. So I ended up with this history degree that, like, I'm not happy about. And even worse is that, like, my diploma is hanging up on the wall in the room where we watch TV, and I just want to set it on fire every time I look at it. So, like, part of me is like, yeah, I actually would really like it if someone else paid my bills, because I didn't want them. But I couldn't, like, my parents couldn't. They were not in a position to do that. And as much as it would have made me feel better in a sort of vindictive way to make them pay my student loan bills, it's not something I could actually make them do, and it just didn't seem right. So I just wasn't gonna bother. Like, I couldn't do that. And the fact that, like, her immediate response to, hey, if you're having that issue, just make your parents pay it, was dumb to me. And so she and I just sort of started drifting apart, and we didn't talk very often anymore, and now we don't talk at all. Like, George went to Russia for a year, and I think while he was gone in Russia, that was the last time I talked to this girl. And that was like 2 years ago, and I don't really feel anything about it. I'm just like, we just kind of drifted apart, and it happens sometimes. And I guess maybe it's sad, but, like, I actually don't feel bad about it, which thinking about it makes me feel bad, but, like, it's just, I didn't think about it until now. You know, it's just so not in, like, it's just such a non-thing in my life anymore. It's weird. And it was a weird experience to know someone who's like, just make your parents do it. And I'm like, I'm sorry, my parents can't do that. They're not going to do that. I don't know if that story made sense. I kept kind of zoning in and out of it. I don't know. Emily likes listening to me talk, and she's my primary audience at this point. So, like, she gets to hear the sort of disjointed story about how me and my last best friend just drifted apart because I was ready to be a grown-up and my old friend was not. Anyway, I got George in my life now, and he makes me dinner sometimes. Because he likes cooking and I don't. Actually, my dad and I hate cooking, so anytime we can make George come over and cook is great. My dad also, I think, likes it because George will do the dishes. He will cook and then do the dishes because George doesn't have a dishwasher at his place. So he's always excited to come over to my house and he'll do the dishes for us because we have a dishwasher. So he just has to rinse them off and make sure they don't have crud on them, and he puts them in the dishwasher, and he's so excited about it. He's so excited about the dishwasher. Which is wild to me because I've never lived in a house that didn't have a dishwasher. Even when I did have my own place for a little while. It was an apartment. I had a couple of roommates. Even that apartment had a dishwasher, and so it's wild to me that the house him and his parents live in doesn't have a dishwasher. Like, what the heck? I didn't know places like that existed anymore, but apparently they do because we live in New Mexico, and whatever. Yeah, I mean, in their defense, their house is really tiny. I don't know where you would put the dishwasher anyway. But yeah, George is always super excited to come over and make dinner because my dad and I don't have any food allergies, so he can make whatever the heck he wants as long as, it's stuff he knows we'll eat. And he knows what we like by now, because I have known him for 11 years. And then he gets to use a dishwasher, and he's so happy about it, and I just let him have it. I let him have the joy of the dishwasher. I also have a rice cooker. His parents refuse to have a rice cooker because they won't have anything in their house that only does one thing, or anything in their kitchen that only serves one purpose. So they won't have a rice cooker, and he's so mad about it. So he likes also to just come over and make rice at my house because I have a rice cooker. Mostly because my dad and I don't like cooking rice on the stove because it's labor intensive and we always screw it up. I.e., it always burns. Because apparently I don't put enough water in it, or I ignore it, or I forget about it, and then it just all the water evaporates, and it's the worst. So rice cookers, okay, rice cookers. They're amazing, and you can get them reasonably cheap. It doesn't have to be a fancy one. Mine just plugs in, and it's got a little pot lid instead of one of those ceiling ones, those fancy Japanese ones, and it just plugs in, and it's got a switch, and you push the switch like a toaster to cook, and then it pops up when it's done, and you eat rice. It's great. So yeah, that's I'm sorry. I'm clearly out of it. Today has been weird for me. And I don't I'm just tired, and I had to get this done, and this was a long project, but it was nice, and I'm gonna try and make a matching Luffy one, hopefully sometime this week, between storyboarding for my next web chapter comic, and shifts at my day job. I'm gonna work on storyboarding and the matching Luffy one because I ship it and I want to have a matching Luffy. They will both be tattoos at some point. I guarantee it, because I am weird and that nerdy, apparently. It's fine. I've been, in other news, I've been watching Kitchen Nightmares with the boys, i.e. the guinea pig and the dog. The guinea pig, I will pick him up out of his cage, because he lives in my office, right? Which is out of, where everybody lives. So I try to make sure to, take him out into the living room with us. and he can just hang out. I've tried to let him wander around. I even bought him one of those little plastic, like, bubble things to try and, like, run around the house in, and he's not a fan, because I'll put him in it, and then he just sits there, and then he'll kind of, like, squeak at me, or whatever that noise is guinea pigs make. He does that at me until I take him out and let him sit with me again. He likes to sit on my shoulder and hide in my hair, which is fine until he gets too close to my neck, and then it tickles. And I'm afraid he's gonna go, like, I'm gonna fling him because it tickles, and anyway, yeah. But anyway, so we've been watching Kitchen Nightmares, which is great. I feel really old because the first season started in 2007, and I was a junior in high school. which I guess just dated, just the biggest clue to how old I am, I guess. You're gonna get. I was a junior in high school when Kitchen Nightmares started. So it makes me feel really old to watch it. Like, every time they mention the date, I'm like, oh my god, because I'm still in season 1. I didn't realize the seasons were that long. But I'm still in season 1, apparently, according to Hulu. And I don't know, it's great. I respect Gordon Ramsay a lot, and I think it's great when some staff on the show is like, oh yeah, I know this place sucks. I know it needs work. I know they're not doing anything about it. And that Gordon Ramsay is gonna fix it if he has everything. And, like, I appreciate the sort of just sheer glee on these guys' faces when they're like, oh yeah, try this whatever, and it's like the worst thing on the menu or something. Or, like, in one episode, the chef was just in the back and he was, like, practically cheering while Ramsay chewed out the manager for being garbage at one place, and it was amazing. I get a lot of joy out of that, watching these people just, like, be so happy that someone is chewing out the person that's making their life miserable, and it's great. Also, I think it's hilarious that, like, pretty much every restaurant he goes to, there's at least one person on the staff who is like, oh my god, look how hot Gordon Ramsay is. It's great. It's great. I love it. I love it. And some of those kitchens are fucking disgusting, though. Oh my god. And they are the worst. Okay, I worked at a movie theater, right? And it wasn't a real kitchen. We had a kitchen, but it wasn't a real kitchen. It was a glorified microwave. It was like it was a restaurant level we called it an oven, but it had a timer on it, and we warmed it up at the beginning of the day, and then just put things in it on a timer. So it was technically an oven, but, like, it was a microwave at the same time, because we didn't really cook anything either. Everything was frozen and prepackaged, and we put it in there, and we had a fryer, and then we had a regular microwave, and, of course, like, the popcorn poppers, and then, like, the hot dog roller. And so it wasn't a real kitchen, but it was a kitchen. And my manager took keeping that kitchen clean so seriously. Like, the entire building was spotless. Like, it was the cleanest movie theater in town. And, like, there would be whole days. Like, we'd only, unless it was the weekend, we would only ever use one. We had 2 popcorn makers, and unless it was, like, a super busy release, like Avengers Endgame, we had both popcorn poppers going. But normally we only had one going at a time. So one day a week, whichever one we weren't using would get deep cleaned. Like, one of us would have to go in and take out all of the parts inside and scrub them down. And, like, sweep out all the popcorn kernels and the seeds that had scattered around everywhere, and we'd have to scrub all the sides and the top of it. And that's how intense, like, the cleaning of this theater was. And it wasn't even a real kitchen, okay? And so it's wild to me to see these people who run professional kitchens, like actual restaurants with real kitchens, and they don't clean anything. It's horrifying. It's horrifying. Like, why would you, how would you let that happen? Like, I have a food handler's permit because I worked at the movie theater. I had to get one in my state to get the job. I had to pass a food handler's licensing test to say that I understood basic rules about like how warm meat should be before you serve it, like what's the internal temperature of those hot dogs should be, and like how to prevent foodborne illnesses so that people wouldn't get sick when they ate anything that came out of our fake little kitchen at the movie theater. And these, like, I had to do that to work at a movie theater, and these people who run actual kitchens just let crud build up and don't clean, and it's horrifying. And I'm like, I had to get a permit to serve popcorn and hot dogs, and you can just run a whole ass kitchen without knowing any of this. That's horrifying. It's absolutely horrifying. Like, I feel like they should have gone through more intensive things than I did to run a whole kitchen. So that's horrifying. That's horrifying. Oh, and I respect Veronica all that much more. The way she ran that kitchen at the theater, she ran a tight ship, and I appreciate it so much. Sorry, got distracted. Aces. He's got a bunch of toys, and so far I've only ever seen him play with a couple of them, and he just played with a different one that's been there forever that he's been ignoring. So that's kind of cute. And I have to clean his cage tomorrow, because you know it's time to clean his cage. But also when he gets the zoomies and he's running around, he kicks some poop out of the cage, which sucks. And means I have to vacuum. But it's fine. I used to keep rabbits, which I might have mentioned in all of my leading up to I'm getting a guinea pig stuff. I used to keep rabbits, and pretty much all but one of them flung their poop. Like, they flung their poop, which is why I definitely preferred putting them in cages with like the little mesh bottoms so that their poop just fell through, and then I could clean it up. Like, pull out like the tray or whatever, because then they couldn't fling it at me for funsies because they couldn't reach it. But like, Ace has the little cage where it's just got the plastic tray bottom, and it's got the bedding, and then he's on top of it because he can't have one of those little wire cages because I guess he'll get bumblefoot. Where like he'll get like weird swollen parts on his little feet, which is not actually a thing I was worried about when I got him. I was actually worried that he would get his foot caught in like the mesh and like break his leg, and he's so little. That would be horrifying. And that's what I was worried about, so that's why I got him the kind of cage bottom he's got. But he doesn't intentionally fling poop at me, which is great. It's so great. I've come to the conclusion that rabbits are significantly harder to keep as pets than guinea pigs, and I should have just done guinea pigs from the get-go. And we're done with my second Sanji piece for the channel. It was nice to actually do something that took more than a couple of hours on a day off. I should do this more often. It makes video production a lot slower, but it was a good time. I post new videos every week, and if you want to follow me elsewhere on the internet, there will be links at the bottom. Don't forget to like and leave a comment, and I'll see you next time. Bye!